Could any of you imagine a city without pollution and with a good waste treatment? Nowadays it's very difficult to find in our planet. Now, think what type of city do you want to leave to our children? If we continue like this, we will not be able to leave them the same cities that our parents left to us. They will have cities without green spaces, full of trash, cars, and suffering the real effects of the climate change. According to the World Health Organization, around 7 million people die every year because of pollution. These are twice the deaths of COVID-19 in 2020. The purpose of my speech is to persuade all of you that we need to take action immediately. Everyone should know what he or she can do to reduce this pollution in our cities, because it is a problem that affects to all of us and will affect to our future generations. I know it is very difficult to change our way of life, but nowadays it is something essential that we need to do to reduce pollution and waste in our communities. The main source of pollution currently in some cities, as for example Madrid, according to this city council, is the transport, the different ways of transport. First, for reducing this pollution, we need to reduce the use of private cars every day. In Europe or in the big cities of America, people can reduce the use of these private cars in favor of the public transport, as for example, using the subway, which is one of the means of transport which pollutes the less. On the other hand, we can use, for example, buses or taxis. They are not private cars and they pollute less. In other small cities, as for example ours here in Hattiesburg, it is more difficult to reduce it, but the government, in my opinion, should invest more in public transport, making it more attractive for all the residents. On the other hand, nowadays cities have another big problem. This problem is the treatment of waste made by the population, companies, factories. One possible solution to this problem can be recycling. Recycling is a fundamental key to reduce this waste. The United States is the country in the world that produces the most waste per person. However, just the 60% of this final waste is recycled, according to the American government. In contrast, other countries, as for example Germany in Europe, this percentage is 62% of their final waste. One of the things made by this country to encourage their citizens to recycle is by getting money back every time they recycle, for example, a plastic bottle of water. It's very easy and it's something that all of us can do. Other important changes that our cities need to improve are the green areas. Currently, in many cities, this type of places have been reduced in the last 20 years. According to some organizations, some of the parks in big cities, as for example Central Park in New York, are known as the lungs of the cities. These organizations believe that these green spaces and parks can reduce the pollution and increase the quality of the air in a 20%. City councils have to invest more money on these public spaces. We need to change the way of thinking. In the past, we prefer concrete instead of trees. Nowadays, most of the cities are trying to change the situation by adding, for example, some plants or trees to their main streets. The purpose of my speech today has been to convince everyone the importance of changing our lifestyle in favor of nature finally. Now you can know what are the three main things that we have to do if we want to stop the consequences of the climate change. First is recycling, then reduce the use of private cars, and then increasing the green areas in our cities. Remember, the number of deaths per year, according to the World Health Organization, are finally unbelievable. Taking immediately action is required if we want to stop these deaths. These are not just numbers, are fathers, sons, grandparents. There are many things that you can do on your daily life to reduce these deaths and the effects of the climate change finally. In conclusion, I think there are plenty of things we can do to change the situation. It is in our hands the future that we want for us and finally our children and future generations.